Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to VP4 TV. We're here for yet another match in this year's VP4 2023 Virtual 9 Ball World Championships. And it's a match to see who will play One Pocket Slim in the hot seat match. The match is between Larry from the USA. So the same sort of lineup from different nations. You've got Larry from the USA and Cobra from the UK, same as the last match, the Slim match against Semi-Pro, and race to 19, and we're going to start in about 5 minutes. Well done to Stubb. He played well last night for the most part, and he deserved to win. But it doesn't get any easier. I doubt very much he'll be running 10 racks in a row. But you've got to play solid all the way now if you're going to hang in there. So Steve won't be here tonight, according to what he said last night. He said he can't make it. So it's just going to be me on my Todd with my little doodle. So there only is Bill and Dwight and Stubb if he's still there. There's only 3 on YouTube at the moment. I think part of the problem with that is over here, people are at their dinner because the match is going earlier than most, and some people will be getting home from work, and they'll probably drop in later on. But well, I don't know what the predictions are going to be. Obviously, Cobra's the favourite, but you know, Larry. If Larry can hang the distance, it should give him a good run for his money. Larry's main objective again is to cut down the errors. He doesn't want to be making more errors than Cobra, and that's a tall order, because going by Cobra's form in his last match, he was really excellent, and Larry knows what he's up against, so he's experienced enough to give Cobra a good match. Will it run close? I mean, we've had crazy matches in the last few matches, and strange things can happen, as we all know. But it's going to be a tall order for Larry to stay the distance tonight and not let Cobra get away. So we'll see what happens. I'm just going to sit in the fence again. But above all, I want to see a good match. That's the most important thing. I want to see. I don't want to see somebody falling apart, whether it be Cobra or Larry. I just want a good match. And having a look at the one-loss side, and we'll go from what's left, top to bottom. We've got Nick against Albinario. We'll look at the dates because I can't read that there. And further down, we've got Stubb already through, so Stubb knows that he's going to be playing Albinario or Nick, and that'll be an interesting match to see. I've now got the hiccups for some reason. So that match with Albinario and Nick goes tomorrow night, excuse me, at 7 PM British Summer Time, and I'll be there for that. So the room is up. Sorry, the room's about to. So what am I talking about? I'm 3 minutes ahead. I'm getting excited. Well, we'll just wait till the room goes up. Well, who do you think you're going to be playing, Stubb? Do you think it's going to be Albinario or Nick? I think it could be either. Well, obviously it could be either of them. I don't think Albinario is necessarily the hot favourite because he's been winning matches, but he's not been what's the word, in full control in a few of them. He's got the job done, and you would think that he would need to step up his game a little bit more. to be able to go all the way. Well, Larry was in about 20 odd minutes ago or more. I don't know. Cobra's, I think he's in the room getting some practice, at least he was. I want to see most of these are, well, I think everybody's on YouTube at the moment. Don't see anybody through on Twitch unless Dwight was on Twitch. So is there any predictions? I don't see any. Right, we're almost there now. Probably about maybe another minute. And we'll have the lag for the break. And of course, the break itself is the thing that's going to play the big part. Who can get the best advantage from it? Who can pinch the dry breaks? All of the usual stuff. But as it gets to the business end of the tournament, it becomes even more important. Welcome to Slim. Right, well, we are knocking on the door of 1/2 the hour, and we should be getting the room up. I hope I'm coming through loud and clear. I hope the stream quality is good enough. Thanks to Slim for streaming the match last night. I did catch all of it before I went to bed. And anybody who didn't see the match last night, they can go to Slim's Twitch channel and watch it there. So we're in, and Larry's keen to get underway. Well, I think the biggest shot in this tournament would be if Nick won it. That would be the biggest shot. So Larry on the right, Cobra on the left, and Larry's definitely won it. Cobra's way short. Maybe he should have been doing some practice in his lag before he came into the room. So off we go, and 7 ball in the side, 1 ball in play, 2 ball trying to squeeze past that side pocket in the right, but I think first little look at that is Larry just needs to get anywhere down this bottom end of the table where we are, and he'll be on the 2 into the side, and he should be out. I mean, this is where we're at. You know, table like this, he should be out, and if he doesn't get out, it's a fail. Couldn't be any more obvious. But it would be an ideal start. And he needs to be just careful on where he's going. I presume he's coming down the bottom right hand side for this 8 ball. I don't believe he wants to mess about trying to get in the gap and he's got a good angle in this 4 ball to come off the left long rail and over to the right hand side. Right, he needs to get right down. He doesn't want to hold off here because that 8 ball can play a big part in this shot, and it's got a reasonable enough pace. Nice little bounce around the corner, and he's got again a good angle. He needs to watch the scratch on the side, that's the only danger. Right hand side pocket, he doesn't want to bring it into play, and he'll be good to go. It needs to just slow up. It needs to slow up. It's going to that testy angle. And with the angle he's got, he'll do well to hold for this 8 ball. He might even fancy checking this cue ball up, which makes the pot even more difficult. Got to be careful. I don't know whether... Yeah, that's the only danger, is that side pocket, so he's played it well. Didn't need to check it up, the angle was perfectly good. So, this is exactly what you would class as a good start for Larry. Won the lag, broke, got a ball, was on the 1, and done the business for first blood. And again, as long as that 4 ball gets out of the way, which it hasn't, the 1's come back into the table. 6 ball has gone. Now he's got to come up with a safety, and again, this is it's a problem where the 1 ball is. There's not a lot of great places where you could push this, so I think he's going to give a kick at it, yeah. And I don't think it'd be wise to push out, because Cobra would have a reasonable chance of getting a good safety from it, I would think. And he is going to push. He's got to be careful where he's pushing here. Yeah. And he's going to get put back in, obviously. I mean, there's no doubt about that. He'll be giving that back. He's going to ride his luck here. He's got to just catch the edge of that 1 and hope it banks back across towards the 2. And he's hit the 2 instead, and it's backfired on him. And likewise, Cobra now, ball in hand, wide open. Well, I don't know whether Larry could have spun that off the long rail into the back of the 1 rather than trying to just catch the edge of it. It was actually the better shot that he did play in order to try and cut that 1 along the rail towards the 2, but it was more difficult. And I think he stuck with it because he thought it would be give him the best chance of at least staying in the rack. Welcome to Mark. So, for the latecomers, i.e. Mark, Larry won the lag, broke off, got a ball, ran the table. Larry broke off in this 2nd rack, didn't have a shot, decided to play a push out, and he left an awkward push out that had to be a kick. Cobra put him back in, Larry didn't get the hit, and gave ball in hand away, and this is where we're at. So we will be tied up 1 rack apiece. Again, he's just gone a bit straight, so it just means he's probably going to run forward here rather than playing a big stun off the rail. He'll just run forward and let it run out. It's the safest shot to play. Welcome to Chimpy. And welcome anybody else that's sitting there quiet, whether you be on YouTube or Twitch. Now Cobra with his first chance to build up a lead straight away here. If he can get a ball and a shot, and he ain't got the ball, and Larry's got the shot. Well, he can get the one. No, he can't. That's a 9-ball. My eyes have gone again. I keep thinking that's a bloody one cue ball in the middle of the table. Well, Larry's. Let's have a look. I think, well, he's going to push. I wonder if Bill would fancy jumping that onto the rail and catching the one. I wonder if Bill would have tried that, because although it was tight, I think Bill might have had a go at trying to chip over that and go along the rail and catch the one. Well, of course, Larry's pushed out. Cobra might try spinning this with a bit of left-hand English. I don't see any reason why not. A bit of left-hand English to try and hold it to the rail, maybe. Or can he actually squeeze there and get some of it without any? Yes, he could. So, Larry's not come out well on the push-out so far. Welcome to Rabbit. Yeah, see when I'm sitting back in my chair, Mark. If I'm sitting back in my chair and I'm looking at that ball in the middle of the table, because it's a blue cloth and because I'm back from the monitor, as far as I'm concerned, that's a cue ball, because I can see mostly white. Welcome to Hairpig. So the latecomers are showing up eventually. And welcome to Popman as well. So he's going to leave this 5-ball long, I would assume. Just roll the 4 in and get a decent enough line in the 5. No, he's running up the table, getting high on it. Well, that'll do. Again, he's got a choice. I mean, he can stun this in and go to the rail and out, or he can let it run forward. And he stunned it and held it. So already Larry's made 2 sort of wrong choices, and they both cost him the racks. Long way to go though. And again, for the latecomers, a reminder that Stubb went through last night against Bill. Stubb played very well for the most part of it. The occasional bang, but it was more sensible play and good potting. Bill did not play bad. Stubb played that bit better, and they deserved to win. And Stubb will know who his opponent is tomorrow night, round about this time, 7 PM or 1900 British Summer Time. We've got the one lost side match with Albinario and Nick tomorrow, and I'll be there for that one as well. Of course, I've just started my days off. I'm off Wednesday, Thursday, so we'll get that match. And meanwhile, Cobra on the 4 ball and just trying to drop dead onto this top rail here. Not the 4 ball, 2 ball. It's got to be really delicate. I think he's got enough control just to drop dead down onto the rail. And that'll do, I think, just. Oh, I forgot about the 4 ball. That's what was going through my head. I'm thinking, no, he's playing the 2 and he's going for the 4 ball. Yeah, you're going to have to forgive me because I've just had my dinner and I want to fall asleep. That's always what happens. Give me half an hour and my senses will come back. I didn't want to come into this match without having had my dinner and leave it till late on. Yeah. So Larry has already got work to do. As and when he gets his chance, he can't let Cobra get away. It's going to be 3-1 with a chance to build on it as well. And well, look at the 9 ball, and the cue ball's gone, and Larry's going to be back in it immediately. Ball in hand, what a disaster that was. Ball in hand, 1-9 combo. Even I can get this. I'm never missing this. Oh, what a bonus that is for Larry. And just, there's a twist in the match already. It was a good enough break. Ball or balls had gone in, and then the next thing you know, the 9's over the pocket, the cue ball drops into the side, and Larry's got a gift, and he's got a ball, but the 1 ball and the 4 ball's gone, but he's got no shot in the 2, but he's got to be really careful here if he's going to try and go up into that top left-hand corner, because he's got no other option. And the 2's going to be exposed, so he needs to get cover. He must get cover. And that looks a good pace. That will do. That ain't going to get jumped. Imperative that he got the cover with the cue ball, because the 2 ball was going to be wide open one way or another. Well, he's going to jump the 5 and go to the rail and try and just catch the 2. Whether he'll catch it to pot it's a different thing though, but he's got enough room to go over that. Certainly blocked out by the 9 and the 7. Yeah, he's just desperate to get the 2 ball out of there. And this is not easy. But one thing about this is, I think Larry can just pot the 2 and let the cue ball run out. He might just catch the 3, and he needs to hope that if he does catch the 3, because he's stuck to the rail, he can't dig into the cue ball and try anything fancy. He might just catch the 3, and he doesn't want to catch it the wrong way. Don't know whether he can get past it or not. We're about to find out though. Well, he took the cut out of the equation and he went for the bank. That was well thought out, because that guaranteed he was going to have a shot in the 3. But now he's going to have to just dig into this cue ball a wee bit. Unless he wants to let it run. But I'd be coming back the way over to that acreage on the right hand side where there's loads of room. Is he going to run around the corner? He looks as if he's going forward at the moment. No, he is digging in. Oh, it wiped its feet. Now, what's the path like? That 8 ball is in the way. Now, he can just play the stunt to the rail and get out. That's all he needs to do. Doesn't want to get into it too much though. Well, he'll settle for that. Because again, he's got nothing to do with the cue ball other than just get the weight in it to get the 6 into the hole and the cue ball to the rail and back out. I mean, this is not difficult. You want to keep everything simple. That's what it's all about. As simple as it can be, where you're not having to do anything with the cue ball, just let it follow its natural path, and you're looking good. Now this needs a little stunt. Just a little dinky stunt over to the right. And he'll have all the room again to go on this 8 ball, no problem. And he could kill it and drop it in the side, but he could just stop it and roll it up or down towards us. Yeah, that's what he's going to do. Well, he didn't stop it, but he's still fine. He's never missing this either. I mean, these are 10 a penny. They've played these 1,000 times and more. Well, Larry was looking like it could be 4-1 to Cobra. And that scratch from Cobra has cost him 2 racks. Welcome to Tommy. And, well, there was something else went in the break. The 8 ball was one in, the 2 ball was the other. And he's going to, well, I say he's going to go for the bank, but look at where the cue ball is. He's right over that 5. This is horrible. Now, he could still call a push out and sort of leave it there about the 3 ball. Well, he's played the push out, but he's left the bank. You know, I would have left it there where the bank wasn't really on. I mean, because you'd have to reverse bank it. I would have left it about here. This is leaving the bait for Cobra to have a go at this 1 ball, but he's not interested. He's trying to get into this little ducat in here, as we call it, I think. Well, he's not found a line. He's got it too thick. And he needed a bit more spin, but I think he was wary of maybe scratching as well. But nevertheless, Larry, although he's got the cut in the 1, he's got to play a well-controlled shot to get on this 3. It was past the 5, we can see. Yeah, does he want to put a bit of right in this to try and come down this side of the 3? That makes the shot much more difficult. He's thinking about it. He's looking around at the moment. I think he's just giving himself time, which is not a bad thing. Just to get yourself settled in your mind about what you're going to do here. No point just wading in and having a blast. Well, he tried the weighted shot down onto it, and he didn't get there. I mean, it still cuts, but you know, it's suddenly become a lot more difficult. And the other problem, obviously, is the 4 ball is in a very tight space to get into that to pot that 4 ball, even if he got this. Well, that cue ball needs to run. I think that is not bad. That is not bad at all. We'll give him that. That was well done. Now it's just a tiny little dink. He just wants to finish the short side. I don't believe he wants to try and get out of there, does he? Had we just dropping this in? Yeah. Yeah, take your medicine. That's the best way to go about it. He's got loads of room off the rail. This is, again, not a problem. And the 6th ball over the hole. Now, he could, in theory, hook himself behind the 7 here, believe it or not, if he gets this cue ball running too heavy. You see what I mean? See what I mean? And he's missed a 5. I mean, that was not a difficult 5 ball. And I don't know why he was trying to do so much with the cue ball other than just let it run in. He was going to pot the 6th ball from anywhere on the table. I mean, that's a bad miss for Larry. That it really was. I mean, I'm not missing that 5 ball. No way. It's a big mistake by Larry, and he's got away with it. He's got away with it. Well, he won't make an asset this time. I guarantee you that. Well, I'll tell you something. He's got out of jail again here. And he needs to make the most of this, whatever, regardless of what's happened, he just needs to make the most of it. You know, from 3-1 down, he's now going to find himself in the lead, and he doesn't know how he's got there. But when he played that 5 ball, I was looking at the line that the pot was going at, and I knew that the cue ball was heading down in the direction of the 7. And maybe Larry had the same idea in his head, and he didn't want to. He played it at a pace that if he went down there, he was going to bump the 7. And, you know, he had all that in the back of his mind, and then he totally forgot about the 5 ball itself. It's amazing how things can go pear-shaped very quickly. But he's off and running again here. 6 and 8's gone. Nicely on the 1. He's not going to play the 2-9 combo because the 2 cleanly goes past the 9, and he should have a good angle to get up for the 3. Well, I would have stunned that a bit more to get the cue ball further out into the table. You know, to let you get the cue stick at the cue ball a bit more. He's just got to again control this. It goes past the 4 and 5, no problem that way. But it's all about touch. He's just going to let it run. I don't think he's going to jack up. He's just going to let it run to the rail and down. And well, he's gone to that spot again, hasn't he? He's gone to that spot. And of course he's running away from the 4 ball. But I don't think he'll try and do anything elaborate. He's just going to let the cue ball open out and leave the longer cut on this 4. He can't, you know, he's not in a position where he can start trying to do things with the cue ball. He's stuck to the rail. So once again, just let the cue ball run out. But he doesn't, you know, he's going to have to work the cue ball to get to the 7. I think he has to accept that. Unless he tries to find the gap between the 9 and the 7 to come back up the table. No, he's just letting it run out, and he doesn't want to be hampered with the 7. Well, the danger here is he's going with right English. Now, if he gets this the wrong line, the 9 ball comes into play. he's got to be careful of that. He's looking at other options. I think he had right English on it there to try and fire it around the rails. He looks as if he's digging in to do the draw off the long rail over to the right. No, he has gone 3 rails. And he ain't got there though. Maybe that didn't come off the rail the way he thought it would. I think it might have caught a bit of the knuckle, and that's what done him there. So the bank looks good to me. I mean, it's pretty much the middle diamond and it's off the rail, and I would expect Larry to get this 9 times out of 10. And look at how it's coming away from the rail, that line there. So his chance is gone. Wow, he used all of the pocket. So Larry's first attempt at opening up a gap has failed. Back to square one. Four apiece. Well, one ball is open, there's no bank. The more important choice here for Cobra is what does he do to get a safety in here? Now, if he sends, let me get my doodle, if he sends the one ball to the rail to go that way, that's no good, I need to get my line. To go that way, he's bringing the cue ball that way to come sort of either in behind the 6 or here and try and get in behind this line. It's touchy though to do that. It definitely is. But those 3 balls that are lined up there, the 2, the 5 and the 7, they'll give cover if he can get the line right. That's what he's trying. And, well, the 6 ball is very handy. That's I don't know that he actually played for that. If he did, I'll give him credit for it. But I think he was just, I mean, he bumped into the 6 and it ended up going like that. But we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he was mainly looking to try and get the cue ball in behind the line of balls. And if that 6 ball wasn't there, then he failed. Yeah, my little, I need to press my right mouse button to get it to go to the straight line. So Larry with a kick. Trying to go a couple of rails. And straight away Cobra looks as if he's going to be getting himself into the lead here. Quick look at the 9 ball just to see where it's lying. I think it looks fine off the rail. Well, I think it'd be handy if he leaves himself a little angle on this 4. Just leave the cue ball where the 3 is, so he can just stun the 4 in and bump the rail and come out for the 5. And that way, it's just handier. Well, he went to the rail, but he still got the same angle. And if he do the right thing, he'll come back a bit to play the 5 to come back to the 6. And he's perfect. That's exactly where you want to be. That way, you've got a line that goes that way onto the 6. It seems obvious to point it out, but that's where you have to be thinking about the line on the next shot to get you to the next ball. I mean, the table's wide open. It all should be simple and straightforward, but you know, some guys won't think about that part of it and just ride their luck with the VP4 escape routes that they can get away with a lot of the time. But when it gets down to this sort of stage in a tournament like this, then you have to be playing good position. That is paramount. So now the shoe's the other foot. Cobra will have to break to try and open this gap again for the second time. I don't know how many were in the tournament. What was there, 40 odd in it? I think it's 64 seats, but I think 40 odd ended up signing up. Well, he could just drop it in, finish the short side of the 5, or he could drop it in and come back out the other side. Trying to get, he's left it short. He's left it short. He was wary of the 9 ball. He might have been better to stick with the plan A and just go the short side of the 5. Oh no. And again, if he's playing this cut, he's got to make sure he gets the spin working in the cue ball to avoid that 7. Although hitting the 7 might not do him any harm, he should have a line onto the 6. And that's well done. Welcome to Tyler. But as I said earlier, and for the benefit of the latecomers, the winner of this match will play One Pocket Slim in the hot seat match. And, well, it could be an all US hot seat match, or it could be US and UK again. Well, with this line here, he can stun up the left side. Again, does he want to be more elaborate and try and come back the right side? I think you can go the left side. I mean, the line there looks to be sort of normal, natural line to go up. You've just got to get up with the side pocket and that'll do it. So it's going to be a 2-rack lead again for Cobra. Cue ball had a quick look in the side pocket as it went past. Oh, 48. Yeah, I knew it was 40 something. I couldn't remember what it was. So Cobra's at the ball in the break. He's got a shot. Well, I say he has a shot in the one. He can see the one, but he's right over the two. But even so, the 4 ball is tucked away behind that 5. Now he's got a good chance for a decent safety here. He can possibly bank this 1 ball down past the 3 and try and stay up that end of the table. Or he could just chip it the other way. I think the main problem is the idea is good and what you can do, but executing it's a different thing when you're right over the 2 ball. Well, he went. Well, yeah, I'm not convinced he went to the pot. I think he went to use that line of balls there. Considering where he's finished in the 2 ball, I think that's what he probably did play. I'm surprised Larry doesn't fancy jumping over the 8 and splitting the 8 and the 9 and jumping and catch the edge of that 1. I'm surprised he didn't even consider that. Again, Bill might have tried that, to jump over the edge of the 8 and the edge of the 9 and catch that 1 and cut it in. Anyway, Larry's almost got away with it. I mean, the 1 ball can only go that direction, and Cobra has to miss the double kiss if he's trying to just catch it and send it to that line up in amongst those balls there like that. And that's not a bad effort, but he should be in trouble though. But Larry's got to just get an edge and shave a thin coat of paint off this ball. He doesn't want to catch this too thick. And the pace looks good. But Cobra does have a gap, but I mean, the gap's there. But whether he can get this cue ball to do anything is a different thing. Well, Larry's going to jump this time. The only thing is, it's a pretty short jump. He's got to watch he doesn't get into it too much and he'll jump straight over the 1. Now it's going to come back up the table. Cobra now, with the 4 ball now in play, will have the chance to stretch the lead here if he can get the 1 and get on the 2. Quick look at the 7. 7's fine. Now it needs to keep rolling. Well, he's the wrong side of the 2 to drop through and play the 3 on the left side and then just fall onto the 4. So probably take it into the corner. Now again, this is fine because you can just sort of softly kill the cue ball and hold it for the 4. Now he's played the stunt, that was fine, managed to hold the line. Now, the 5 ball needs a wee bit more thought. Now, I don't think is there enough room to get in behind that 5 and bump the 9? It looks tightish to me. Or is he trying to get out to leave a narrow pot into the side? Yes, he is. Now, Now the problem is how tight the angle is, and the fact he's got to hold the cue ball to leave a cut in this 7. I think he'll roll it in dead weight and again just take his medicine and finish up here. He's digging in a wee bit. Oh, he's played that well. He's played it very well. He's even inside the 7 with a nice little line to spin the cue ball out off the rail. Or he can just stun up. And he can leave it long. Well, this is Cobra's second time building up this gap. It's now gone to 3. It was 2 before in the early part of the match when he was 3-1 up. So, early alarm bells here for Larry. He's got to stem the tide here if he can. Well, balls are going in. He's got some sort of shot in the 1, thin cut. 3 ball wide open. 2 and the 4 have gone. But this is really, the whole of this shot here is going to decide this rack. You know, potting the 1 and getting on the 3. And that'll do. Well, there'll still be work to do off this 6 ball to get on the 7. Again, the 8 ball is just in the way slightly from the type of shot he would play to go on that 7 ball as opposed to what he's going to have to do to go on the 7 ball. So, first of all, he must have the angle. He's got the angle. Now, this is fairly close to the rail. Pace is good. Well, he might, he's got 2 choices. You can run forward, or you can be brave and stun this in firm and get out into the middle of the table. He's just letting it run. He's wrong side of the 8. So, what he'll maybe do is cheat the pocket slightly and draw that way, or go the other way into that side of the pocket, so that he's keeping the cue ball sort of around about this area. Well, he managed to cheat it enough, but he's overcooked it big time. He's overcooked that massively. Welcome to Tam. Just that up a bit too much. But he gets a recovery pot and suddenly it's a 4 rack lead, 8 racks to 4. How many is that? Is that 2 that he's ran? He's won 1 and then ran 2. Now, something went in there. What went in? The 8. Once again, he's got a choice. He can go for the cut, but he's going to have to work the cue ball though, or he can duck for cover because the opportunities here for decent safety is good. You know, why take a big risk when you've got Larry behind, make his life more difficult. That's what I'd be doing. Now, I think Larry's got to go 2 rails here. I think he's got to try and kick this one. Let me get my donut. Not my donut, my doodle. I think he's got to do that to try and kick the one up the table somewhere and keep the cue ball there. I don't think he wants to try and hit this one direct. I think if he gets the right pace on this kick behind, then he might get cover behind those balls. He's going a totally different direction though, hoping that it will go in. Well, he'll settle for that. He hasn't left anything easy on it. Welcome to Nick. Well, he's not running away with it yet. If he gets to 10 and Larry's still in 4, then he's running away with it. That's a good shot. Not a difficult hit, of course. I mean, this is a big target, this one ball, but again, it's in the lap of the gods how the outcome's going to be. If he gets it right on point, he could cut this along the rail, but he would have a better chance going that side, obviously. This has got a long way to travel along the rail to go in. Well, now Cobra has his chance. Again, there's work to be done though. Now, how does that look from his end? Well, I think the 2 ball comes into this pocket here. I think the 4 ball is slightly in the way. Well, he's used the 7 because I thought he was trying to find any sort of line, but he managed to use the 7 to hold it. That was well done. And now he's good to go. You stun the 2 in, leave the 3 into the side, and 4 ball, possible 4-9, but I don't believe he'll want to play that. He'll probably try and get good on the 4 one way or another. Well, here Big's called the rack already. Well, you know, straight away here, he's got to make the choice. He might be leaving the 4-9, or he could be running through. I mean, he's got a line to run through and come off the rail and out behind the 4 and play it up table. Yeah, that's what he's doing. And he's also got the line on the 4 ball to go that direction to get on this 5. Well, the sirens are now wailing now for Larry. He's been frozen out these last 3 or 4 racks. And that's the one thing Steve keeps talking about, is keeping control of the table. And of course, Larry didn't need any reminding of how well Cobra is playing, going by Cobra's performance in his last match. He was really on form, and there's no signs of him falling apart here, because it is going to be 9 racks to 4. But already you feel that something's got to happen. a lot sooner rather than later for Larry to try and find a way back in it. But he's got to just bide his time and be patient. But as long as Cobra gets breaks like that, he's not going to get much of an opportunity. That's a cracking break. The 3 and the 4 and the 6 have gone. He's on the 1. And very rapidly it's going to be 10-4. I beat Hairpig 2 at that time. Because you look at this table and you think, well, where the hell is this going to go wrong? How can this end up in a disaster? Yeah, there's been some crazy finishes to matches recently, Tam. The last 3 matches before the stump match last night, they all went crazy. Right at the very end. So 6 racks Larry's got to find sometime very soon. And he has to wait in this sort of opportunity. It looks dry. And Larry, well, he knows exactly what is required of him here. He must get out. Now, I don't know whether he can come back off this and miss the 2, or whether he's going to have to run a couple of rails. I think he's going to have to go long rail, side rail. And the danger then is how far the cue ball leaks up the table. He could end up hooked. He's got to be careful if he's doing that. And that was well done. That wasn't such a good result though. He's finished right on top of the 2. And he hasn't fought in that. So he's trying to get up by the 7. And that's a good pace. And that was well done. Okay, it doesn't put an awful lot of pressure on Cobra in terms of coming up with a shot to get out of it. He just jumps over it. The balls are all sitting good if Larry can get a sniff off this jump shot. Oh, that looks beautiful. That is an excellent jump. Only problem now is he's got no shot in the 3 other than a really good combo on this 9. Well, I think looking at the table, Cobra's decided he's going to have a blast at this. And that was absolutely perfect. That was excellent. At that distance, that was a great combo. And it's all falling into place here for Cobra at the moment. Larry landed on top of the two, couldn't get himself out. And Cobra again, I think, has come up dry. But once again, Larry's got an awful lot of work to do. Quick look at the two. The two doesn't need moving. It does go, but look at the shot he's got in the one. And I think Larry's already sort of backed into a corner here. I think he's looking to cut this and come off just past the 5-ball. Couple of rails and go onto that 2-ball. This is tough. This is not what you feel forced into playing this. Is he cutting it the other way, or is he? Let's have a look. Yeah, this is. Yeah, that was the idea. He didn't quite get there. The pot was tough enough, but he could at least see the two to play the cut. And you know, you're clutching at straws when you're in a desperate position like that, and you feel forced into having to go for it. Now, what lines he got here? Well, he can certainly stun the two in and come around the rails and over this side. The danger's the 6-ball if he's doing that. The other thing is, if he's going forward, he's looking to maybe come in this gap and do the same thing. He's played the stunt, so 6-ball's the only worry, and he's well away from that. And the only other worry is the scratch, and Larry has been given his chance. He has been given his chance. Now, had Cobra did the other option that I talked about and go that way, he would have been probably more likely to find the rail sooner and avoid the scratch, but that's neither here nor there. The shot's been played. And now Larry he just must do it to survive. Now, again, it all looks simple, but it ends up not being simple if you don't get a good angle on this 7-ball. You know, if you think at the worst possible scenario with the 7, if you end up straightish, then you just roll through into the 8 into the side. But what you really want is an angle either inside or outside the 7 to get out into the table for the 8. But the other thing is, you must get good in the 8 where you're not interfering with the 9. So this is not cut and dried yet. The angle is there. And he's good to come across for this 8-ball. He wants to finish in the 8-ball like there. You need to keep going. See, now he's got to just dink back off it, and he'll avoid the 9, or even if he just feathers it a touch, it won't go anywhere. And that'll do it. So again, just the way those balls were sitting, it all looks simple, but you have to get the vital angle to get to that simple position to finish the rack, and he did it. So he stemmed the tide for the time being, but he's still 6 behind, and he's going to have to, well, I mean, he had a similar shot like this earlier on, didn't he, over the 8 and 9, sort of splitting the two of them to try and get a jump, and he never went for it. And I don't know that that 2-ball is too far away to actually jump over. I don't think it is. I don't think he can do it. Yeah. But like I said, I'm surprised he didn't play the jump over that 8 and 9 earlier in the match. Because I'm pretty certain Bill might have had a sniff at it. Now he's looking for the push out, but well, again, this is calling Cobra's bluff. Cobra's got a bank. Steve would probably say, well, that's no good if Steve was here, because Cobra is going to go for the bank. And Steve might even say it was a sellout, because that's the way it looks now. I'm afraid it's looking very much like it. It does not look good. And probably Cobra's surprised that Larry left him that bank. He's thinking Christmas has come early and said, I'm going for it. You know, it was Steve would be really annoyed if he was watching that shot by Larry there, leaving that dead set bank pretty much. Well, this it's now at the point where I will say this match is running away from Larry, especially when he plays stuff like that. That is not good. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hang on a minute, guys. Are we going to see the semi-pro waggle? More important, can he jump over and get any of that 6? Yes, he can. Well, Larry's clinging on with his fingertips here, hoping that he gets some opportunity from this attempt to escape by Cobra. And basically what he's going to be doing is banking the 6 back up the table. That's all he can do. And just hope that he gets distance, and maybe he gets lucky and gets covered behind the 7 and the 8. Or the 9. Or he could do that and send the 6 into the hole like that and finish pretty decent on the 7. Okay, he's the wrong side of the 7. But that's got to hurt. Well, I mean, with this shot here, you let it run the 3 rails and don't hook yourself behind the 9. You know, that's the obvious way this will go wrong. Now, clearly when he jumped to get to the 6, he could just hit enough of the 6 to put it on the line for the bank. I don't know whether he played it as such. I'll give him his dues that he did. I think he was more hoping that he just got it, you know, got distance between the 2, but it went in, so that was a bonus. And well, it's now 12-5. The gap is 7 and climbing. Oh, that cue ball. Well, a cue ball was going to scratch anyway, and then it took a U-turn and then it got knocked in with 8. So Larry again has a chance with ball in hand. Well, he looks as if he's just going to the rail and coming out for the 2 into the bottom right. But he's now got to get up the table or come in between the 5 and 8 and roll the 3 up into the top left. But that then makes it more difficult to get back for the 4 unless he gets a good line. And he's trying to get up top. I think he's left it short. So now, let's see if the commentator's eye can get this right. Something like that, and it's messing with these 2 balls here. Oh, he's leaving this short. He's leaving this way short. And looking at the line the cue ball was taking, it was going there and been very close to being hooked anyway. And now he's in trouble. And that is not going to be good enough, I'm afraid. He's got it too thick. And Cobra, I think, well, he's just got cover. Just got cover and no more. I thought he could get to the left edge, but clearly you can see he can't. So Larry breathes again. Check to cue ball there to kill it behind the 5. Didn't quite get it tight, so Larry will definitely jump this time. But you know the worst possible scenario here is he cuts the 1 and hits the 9 and hooks himself behind the 8 for the 5. Oh, he's went up top. That was well done. I thought he was going to cut it into the side. Well, he probably saw the obvious it might go wrong there and took it up table for that reason. Well, this is again a vital out here for Bill, not for Bill, for Larry. I think it's just because he's American, I just call them all Bill. He's gone himself too straight now. So, well, he'll just come back off this, I would think. Is he going to run forward? I just would think he'd back. Let's have a look, see if he can come back. Yeah, you can come back off that. Just get yourself back to about here, roll the 7 into the side. Well, he's left that a wee bit short. Well, I'm surprised none of you have actually called yourself Dollar. Well, call yourself Dollar. Or Duck, as in Duck Bill. Well, straight to the rail and back out and play the 9 up to the left. Or just dig into it and hold the cue ball and play the 9 into the top right. Well, Larry's score will look a lot better if he gets to 10. But when you're stuck there in, what is it? Well, 6 now, isn't it? 10 still looks an awful long way away. He's got to get in a roll, and it's got to happen now. And he's got a ball, and he's going to have a shot. Well, he's got a couple of balls, 5, one of them that's gone in, and the one's in the side. And the problem is immediate. The immediate problem is potting the 1 and getting on the 3. And the 3, let's have a look. Well, let's decide it doesn't go. That's too tight to be messing with. That doesn't go. So, the line he's got in the 1, he can go that way and come down and try and get down here. He's going to be in the narrow side of the 3 and it's going to be a cut if he does that. But that to me is his best chance of, well, I don't know what he's tried there. He's tried something similar. Tell a lie, I'm forgetting about the 2. That's my dinner played up again. Well, he's still in the same position here. Even though I get the ball wrong, I'm getting excited. That's better. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Disaster. Oh dear. Well, if it doesn't rain, it pours. And I'll get that in quick here, Pig, because there's no way it's not going to be 13-6. And that's a 2-rack swing right away there. Another 2-rack swing. And that's self-inflicted damage, I'm afraid, which Larry just cannot afford to do now. He's in that hole, and the hole's only going to get deeper. He can't be doing anything like that at all. And he's running out of racks as well. Well, again, the safest thing without running the cue ball is just to stun it in and leave it long. You know, you can go to the rail and come up the table. You do whatever you want, but the less you move the cue ball, the less likely the cue ball is going to find a hole somewhere. You see, just get it in that direction will do. So this match has been on for an hour and 12 minutes. It's a long road now for Larry, and it might be just a bit too long. And he needs a lot more charity here from Cobra, and that's the first bit anyway. It's dry, but once again Larry has got to get on this 3 ball where the cue ball is going clean up the table for the 4. He doesn't want to be avoiding traffic or having to avoid traffic. He wants a decent line. So this is the most important shot of the rack here, because that 5 goes into the side. So this is it. If he can get from 3 to the 4, then he's favourite to be out. And that's dangerous. And that's another disaster. It's amazing what can happen. He went straight into the trap there, hook, line and sinker. And he's now desperately trying to jump something. He might be lucky he can get over it. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. It's, you know, it's at that stage in the tournament where it is paramount that you find your way out on tables that are not too difficult. But the difficult shot was getting good up the top of the table, and he couldn't get there. I don't think the 8 ball's going to be a problem. Let's have a quick look at it. Well, maybe it will be. That's a lot more ugly than I thought it looked. That is not nice where it's sitting. And it's the 6 ball isn't nice either, because I think it's almost locked to the rail, is it? Well, it's as good as frozen to the rail. And Cobra's going to have to punch this in to come back and get out to cut the 7. But he's got work to do to get good in the 8. The 8 is going to be the challenge. I think he was trying to get straighter on this 7 ball, just so that he could roll it in and leave the cue ball on the rail. He can still have a go at that, but it's really, you know, it's really gentle. Or he's got enough angle to come off the 2 rails, you know, the long rail on the left, long rail on the right, and back across. He just has to avoid running into the 9. And I'm looking to see if he's playing that 8 ball. See, the thing is, you can't really play that 8 ball comfortably from this angle. I think you're too close to the pocket. He's got to run. He's got to run here, I think. He's got to try and get up the top side of this 8 ball. Yeah. He's avoided a scratch. And that's probably as good as he could get. And that's a great shot. Just got to watch he doesn't catch the point. A little dink and out for the 9. Yeah. It's all falling into place for Cobra. Who gave the predictions earlier on? Because somebody gave the prediction quite heavily to Cobra. They're certainly. I can't remember who it was because 19-9. Well, I think Larry might do well to get 9 the way things are going here. 8 ball drops into the side. And Larry's lifeline is that Cobra's having to push. Well, you know, you would think if he goes anywhere up the table, he wants to get partial cover on this one ball because, you know, Larry may well feel forced into playing the reverse bank here. I don't think. I mean, he could use the 6 ball as a stopper and spin the cue ball and try and get up top right, missing the 5 ball. You know, because that's a reasonable line to try and get to sort of like that and get up there and using this as a stopper. Well, there you go. He called my bluff and decided he was going to go for the reverse bank. And Larry's in backs to the wall situation. It's all out attack now as soon as he gets a sniff. This is the wounded animal coming out in Larry because I think he doesn't see any other option at the moment. He's just going to go for it if he's given that chance. But it's all very well going for it. He knows that he just can't make unforced errors. And straight away with this shot, there's a test to avoid hooking himself behind the 9 if he's trying to just finish top left of the 5 ball. Well, that could have bumped worse. I mean, he can't avoid hitting the 6. He's going to take some of it, but if he takes it the right way, he's sending the 6 that sort of direction, and that's good enough. Needs to watch the 9. I think he's well away from it. Well, this is just straight through to the rail and back into the table. You know, that you just need to go high enough or low enough as we're looking. And now things have to fall into place here. The break has to work. Balls have to go in. Shots have to be available. And he needs to do a good 3, 4 or 5 of them if he can. It's a tall order. But it is 9 ball and it can happen. But I think he's come up dry straight away. Didn't hear anything go. And he's got away with it though. Cobra's got no shot in the 1. And look at the table. Well, what do you do with this shot where you're not leaving your opponent a sight in the 1 ball because all the balls are wide open? And he's trying to get dead behind the 4, and that's pretty damn good, other than the fact Larry will jump this, no bother. And well, if he can get this, if he can get the one and keep this cue ball in play somewhere down here where he can see the 2, he will have his chance. Oh, it's did everything but go in, and he ended up hooking himself behind the 9 anyway. So he blew it both ways there. He might have got out of jail again, though. No, well, Cobra's got to be careful. He gets right into this point to catch that, because it's very easy to get around the angles and not even hit the one ball there. Well, Larry's chance has come and gone in the blink of an eye, because again, this table's just crying out to be cleared. Now, ideally, go over and get inside that 3 ball so you can stun across with the 4 into the same corner pocket. He's going long-wise, but that'll still work, although he's gone a bit more further inside than we really have liked. But, you know, this shot here is not difficult. You know, you stun it up into the pocket, you get a hold of the cue ball, you go that direction or over that way, and you're on the 4 into the corner. Now, again, he's left himself too close to the rail for comfort. It just means that he can't get into the cue ball as well controlled as you would if the cue ball was there. So he's just going to go forward. And again, same again, he stuck himself in the rail, but he's fine. Yeah, Larry's just an obstacle in Cobra's way from the end goal, which is to win another virtual 9-ball world championship. Assuming that he has won it, because I can't remember. And I watched him. That's how good my memory is. So 15 racks to 7. Well, Larry's just, you know, he's made too many mistakes at the wrong time. And Cobra's just the, you know, he's the one guy that you don't want to come up against when you are doing those little errors, because you're not getting away with them. And at this stage in the tournament, you shouldn't expect to get away with them either. And it's going to be a miracle if Larry gets out of this. So, running forward onto the 4, leave a nice angle on the 6 just to either go to the rail and spin a little bit in the left, or just stun up the table for the 7. But it's going to be 16 in a second. But I don't think Larry will have any complaints. He knows that he wasn't up to scratch as far as being competitive with Cobra is concerned. He knows the errors he's made, and he's just watched Cobra gobble them all up. No, but he has had chances, and he's blown a couple of chances where he couldn't get out, as well as the other little errors. But yes, agreed. He's not really been at the table that long since early on. Cobra's been dominant in that sense, as far as table time goes. But Cobra already put out the warning signs in his last match, because he played really well in his last match. He's actually played really well in this one. I don't think Cobra's... I'm trying to think in the errors Cobra's made. You know, he's maybe... Did he have a scratch in the break or something like that or whatever? But he's not made anything major that I can recall. Or maybe he's made one that I've overlooked. But somebody will tell me. Well, that's good practice is what you want. Yeah, he did scratch, yeah. Yeah, well, I don't think we'll chastise him for that. The standard he's playing at is too good for the rest of the guys in this tournament at the moment. So somebody's got to come up with some way of stopping him. And that's the one thing that you have to look at, is how you stop Cobra. And the most important way of doing that is keeping control of the table. You know, if you can't run out, then make sure that Cobra can't. Don't be leaving him any easy opportunities and put him in trouble. Lock him up. Frustrate him. But if you decide you're going to make it a shooting match and try and compete with Cobra that way, then you better have your shooting boots on, because if you can't back yourself up and run tables on a regular basis, you're still going to lose. It's as simple as that. Well, he's hooked behind the two, but the jump on the one wasn't going to be a problem. And well, he played a none too easy long combo in a 9-ball early in the match, and this is even more difficult because of the angle he's sitting at. But he's lining up this 2-4. He nailed that combo early on in the match. I mean, it went flush into the middle of the pocket. And this time he's decided to duck. Which again, you know, quite right. Why take the risk? Why not just stick Larry behind the 4-ball and let him worry about something and getting out of this and getting it safe? You know, this is how you keep your man down. Don't give him any encouragement to get back in it. And Cobra's doing the right thing. He's not running and racing to the finishing line. He's just content to bide his time and keep Larry under control. But again, Larry going all out to get the cut, and Cobra gets his reward. You know, Larry's resigned that he's losing this match, so if he's seen a ball, he's going for it. I don't think you need to take much else into consideration. He's just decided he's going to try and fight his way out of the corner, but I think it's all too late. So it'll be 17-7, a 10-rack gap in the next minute and a half. That's exactly what he means. You know, Cobra could have went for that combo there. It was a lot more difficult combo than the one he had earlier in the match. And now he's thought about the situation. He's thought, well, this table's good. apart from the fact the combo's not a gimme. So I've got an easy option to put Larry in trouble, and I'll let Larry try and deal with the situation. And Larry, of course, Cobra knows now Larry's going for everything, so Larry decided he was going to try and jump and cut the ball. Didn't get it, left everything on, and Cobra doing it exactly what he was expected to be doing if he got a sniff. Tried to scratch there though. So the question now is who is going to stop Cobra? Well, if this goes the way it's going, Cobra's in line to take out the other American in the tournament, which is One Pocket Slim in a hot seat match. And he's now 2 away from that. And this is dry. And of course, now that it's dry, I don't know that Larry can see enough of the one, and he can't. But he might even be desperate enough to try and bank this. I think he may well be doing it. A sort of 2-in-1 shot, trying to duck up table. And of course, naturally, whenever you do stuff like that and you're down the way Larry is, you leave the one ball on. Hang on a minute though. Well, he's got himself hooked. Yes, he'll jump it. Yes, he'll pot it. Might not be quite as simple and straightforward in a 3-ball, but I wouldn't take many bets that he won't find his way out here. Of course, the 4-ball to the 5. Well, again, the 5-ball has loads of room past the 6 if you're sitting here like that. If you're sitting here like this, it's not quite as simple. But he's left himself the nice little angle on the 4. He's had a look at the 5. The angle that he's got can get him over onto that line and squeeze the 5 past the 6. And that looks perfect. I mean, that's exactly what I was talking about. To pot that 5 clean, you have to be in this sort of line, and that you couldn't have nailed it and put it there with your hand any better. Absolutely plumb on it. And just come back off it. Well, Slim was in the stream earlier on. Is he still there? I think Slim's been stunned into silence or stunned into fear, one of the two, knowing that he's going to be playing this guy next round. Well, one thing's sure though, Larry still survives. You know, he's going over to the one-loss side, and they're all going to have to battle it out. I'm sure Larry will be up for the fight. So Cobra now is on the hill, and it's been a march to success here from really quite early on in the match, once he got himself in control and has ran away with it in the end. But he's dry again, and Larry has a chance of maybe 1 or 2 bonus racks here try and get to double figures. Well, welcome to Matt. You won't be here long, because this match is done and dusted pretty much. I need an all-time miracle for Larry to get out of this mess. We'll have a look at the stats, and Larry's overcut the 4, and it's hasta la vista. Well, you typed that a bit late here, Prig. Because this match is done. We'll have a look at the stats after it. It might be quite scary. But although I think Cobra's had a number of dry breaks though. I think Cobra might be less than a ball in the break, because he's had a fair few dry breaks I can remember. I don't think he'll be worried about that though, because what matters is that stat in the top left hand side of the screen. That's the most important stat of all. It's going to be 19-7. Well, loads of left English there. The danger, of course, was the scratch. He's got the little bump. He's fine. So just forward to the long rail and back to the other long rail, as close as he can get to it, and that will do. So, impressive performance again from Cobra. And all these guys are running for cover. And if Stubb is there, you're going to need a lot more than your own bombs to deal with this guy. So, well done to Cobra. And Larry will just hold his hand up. I mean, he's made his errors, he's made his own contribution, but Cobra's just way too strong. And a really comfortable win in the end. So now, we will have confirmation, if I can get the buttons to work. And a reminder as well that tomorrow night we have the match between Albinario and Nick on the one-loss side, race to 13, and that is at 7 PM British Summer Time. That, of course, is 2 PM Eastern, 11 AM Pacific, and I'll be there for that. So the confirmation we have is that we have a hot seat match, and that hot seat match is between Cobra from the United Kingdom and One Pocket Slim from the USA. We'll go back and have a look at the stats, and we'll look at Larry. Oh, where the hell is he? How many Larrys are there? There he is. You can get it to work. And Cobra. Well, that's a good thing about these guys. They've got short names. I don't know if we can spell it though. Right. Hang on a minute. Is that him there? Right, there we go. Cobra 3.5 balls per turn. Larry 2.25. Shot percentage by Cobra 89.02. I think Cobra I think Cobra played like, what, couple of safeties in amongst that lot. 160 shots, 164 shots played, 140 odd balls made. Break stats. Yeah, Cobra was short of a ball in the break. 5 runouts from the break. Larry had 1. Racks run 5. Larry 2. Obviously, Larry only had 7 racks to match. Racks high run for Cobra was just a 1. And 100% money balls. So, I think the other thing we'll do is have a quick look at the overall stats, because again, some guys have played more matches than others. Breaks. Well, Bill, of course, is now out of the tournament, but he leads as far as runouts from the break is concerned. I think that's right enough. Yep, he's on 30. Nick's got his match tomorrow night. He's in 26. Bedhead is now out of the tournament. He's in 23, so none of those guys can affect their total. Stubb was in 22, and he did well last night. He came up the board with, I think he had 7 runouts last night. Spectre Dawn on 20, of course, that won't change. Cobra's in 19. Albinario's in 18. Semi-Pro 17. And there's nobody else apart from Slim, who's down in 12, that are left there to change that total. Now, racks ran in total, you've got Bill on 40, so again, that won't change. Spectre Dawn won't change either. He's in what, 30, is that 33 or 37? Or 31, let me get my chair, 31. And you've got Nick on 30, so Nick is obviously closest to the top there, but he's probably still going to be behind, depending how things go in his match. Bedhead in 29, Stubbs in 29, Semi-Pro 28, Albinario 27, so there's a few there close together. You've got one Pocket Slim down there in 17, so Slim's totals there are falling quite short in terms of the runouts going, or the racks ran. Racks high run, Stubb leads that. He got those 4 last night, I think. The racks high run. I could be wrong, but I think the stats showed he had 4. I don't think I'm imagining it. I might be right saying that. And then behind him you've got Bill, Bedhead, Bankster, Nick. Well, Nick again, he can add to that if he gets on a roll. Who else? You've got a long way down. You get Slim down there in 2. Where's Stubbs at the top? Aye, look at who else is still in it. Well, Larry's down there in 2. So anyway, that's enough of the stats. Well done to Cobra. I don't know whether he came into the stream, did he? But well done, really strong performance. And Larry, back to the drawing board, because this guy's going to be hard to beat. You know, and I think in order to beat Cobra, Cobra's got to have a bad day. Let's be honest. He's got to be. His break's not going to be working. He's going to have to be making mistakes, and a lot more of them than he has been in his last 2 matches. And that's an awful lot to ask. You know, Cobra's playing really solid, and he's playing too solid for everybody that's left in this tournament. And if you think that's me talking bullshit, then you only need to look at the results he's getting and the performance he's put in. His name's in this trophy, and it's really his to lose at the moment, because all the other guys aren't up to that standard. So it's going to take a hell of a match to beat him. Right. So I hope you can join us tomorrow night. I don't know whether Steve will be there tomorrow. He may well drop in, but I certainly will be there. And I look forward to your company if you do. If you can't make it, go onto YouTube. I'll add this one to the tournament playlist, and I'll add the other one tomorrow night as well. So until we meet again, I will bid you good night.